Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima. I said I'd do it, so I'm bloody doing it. I tried to do it before, but I wasn't happy with how it came out, so I'm gonna give it another shot. I was gonna put this onto the end of that survey video you saw on Weekly Update 230 Tuesday. I don't know exactly when this video will be coming out, but it's coming out at some point. I hope so anyway. So, this is going to be a little bit of a recap of what I liked in 2016 and what I didn't like in 2016 and what I'm looking forward to in 2017. My favorite games, biggest disappointments, and upcoming games I'm looking forward to, or whatever the bloody hell I'm going to title this one. It's going to be titled something like last year's one, so, well, we might as well just get right into it because I'm not getting any younger, am I? Man, I've already done this once, so trying to do this again is going to be a bit of a nightmare, but oh well, I've got 10 games that I really liked, like seriously my top 10 pretty much of games that I liked in this year. I've got a bunch of games that I did like but not enough to put on my top 10, and then I've got a bunch of imports to talk about because that wasn't something I was able to do last year because thank you PlayAsia, you guys are freaking gods. Then I've got my games that I'm disappointed in, and then I've got the games that'll be coming out next year that I'm looking forward to. So, that's a thing that we will be talking about basically right now. So I'll start talking with my top 10 games this year. First one's gotta be Trillion. Trillion God of Destruction. And I'm really surprised by this, because I was not expecting to like this game anywhere near as much as I did. It's basically Princess Maker, but instead of going through a linear story and, you know, passing stat checks, instead you're fighting a gigantic beastie that's got a trillion HP. And the whole idea is that you have characters that literally can and will die. And of course, they all end up having really nice personalities to make up for it. They've done a really good job with writing this game. I really wish I had more time to play it, but I do not have the time these days. I've been spending so much time just working on videos for Vita games and stuff like that I really haven't had the time to slow down and play most of the games on this list that I haven't had the opportunity to get done yet. So, there you go. But yeah, Trillion is just something else entirely. I really do like it. It's a bit of a hidden gem, and it has come out on Steam, so for those of you who are apparently don't like the idea of playing this game on the go, why the hell not? It is seriously a lot better to be able to play a game literally just by hitting the standby button and coming back to it like 2 weeks later, but there you go. Speaking of which, XCOM! The original XCOM has finally come out on Vita. And, well, the port wasn't the best, was it? I fully admit that the port of this game is anywhere between rickety bridge and bridge has collapsed and fallen into the canyon already, but it's still XCOM. I mean, for the most part, there's no action in this game, so, well, I mean, for the most part, there is no action in this game. It's all, like, turn-based, so it doesn't really matter how bad the port is as long as it doesn't crash every few minutes. Looking at you, Dex. So, that's perfectly fine by me, and it's XCOM on the go. I really cannot stress how cool that is, just by itself. Zero Time Dilemma came out this year, and well, I never expected it to come out. Who would have thought Zero Time Dilemma would have come out this year? But apparently it did, and it's a really good end-off to the series, or at least that's what I think. Apparently a lot of the fans hated it, but I actually really enjoyed it. Everything made sense, and I mean, sure, it's got a bit of a rough run-up, sure, but I mean, that ending, man, that ending was worth it. It makes perfect sense to me, at least. I'm not entirely sure what everybody else's problem is with it, but, you know, I've got a comment section. If you didn't like it, feel free to tell me why I'm wrong. It's what they're there for. Just don't swear too much or you'll get picked up by my, comments filter. Now, that's a bit ironic, isn't it? I say swear words all the bloody time, and yet, apparently my comments section is a little bit oversensitive to that, so there you go. Vanillaware are gods. Of course they're gods, and Odin's Sphere is no different. Sort of Norse mythology combined with beating the crap out of everything you see, and absolutely gorgeous art, absolutely fantastic art that I really do want to get through to the end of, but I can't because I don't have the time. But yeah, I absolutely love everything Vanillaware does, and of course 13 Sentinels is coming out next year, hopefully, and Vanillaware plus mechs. Oh yes, that sounds perfect. So yes, Odin Sphere. If you haven't bought, like, everything Vanillaware has made yet, then please, for the love of God, go do that. SteamWorld Heist kind of surprised me in beating him in my top 10, because I didn't expect them to go completely in the opposite direction from what they did with the previous game, which was a kind of a Minecraft cross Mr. Driller sort of thing going on there, cross Metroidvania, where you drill down, you get supplies, you get upgrades, and you use that to get down further. Instead, in SteamWorld Heist, it's basically a two-dimensional XCOM where you can shoot the hats off enemy robots. And that is awesome. Like, it gives you a little thing to do on the side, along with the actually really well-made strategy. And I adore SteamWorld Heist. I just wish it had more stuff behind it, you know, make it so that it didn't last. It does last for a fair bit for a $15 game, but at the same time, I just wish there was more of it. So there you go. Speaking of games that there are more of, good old Shiren the Wanderer. Shiren the Wanderer. Good lord. It's a roguelike with a ridiculous amount of content. There's a ton of side dungeons. There's a massively long campaign. You have to do a lot of upgrading on your items and making sure you're fully prepared. And of course, there's the nighttime, which completely changes how the game works for a few minutes. And it's so finely crafted. It's so well done. It's just every little thing you can think of is in there, and there's so much stuff to do. Like, there's a bunch of different item passwords, there's a bunch of different items you can create, there's side quests, there's all sorts of effects, and again, there's all the side dungeons that have all sorts of different things you can do in them, and it's just, man, it is so well done. If you haven't bought this game already, go do that. The only reason people don't like Shiren is because they haven't played it enough. At least that's what I think, anyway. Of course, there's Mobile Suit Gundam Extreme Versus Force. I absolutely love Extreme Versus as a thing, and Force, while not as good as the other entries, obviously, it's still a really good action game. Plenty of high-speed robot action going on there. The 6 versus 6 fights are awesome. It can be a little bit unbalanced against you sometimes. And then there's the arcade mode, which is just finesseful brilliance. Because, you know, 2 versus 2 fighting is what this series was built on, and it absolutely rocks in that regard. I just wish it had multiplayer, because multiplayer, in the sense that it's not one-on-one, you know, over ad hoc. Like, 2v2 online would be great. I really wish they'd do that. Gundam Versus is coming out next year for PlayStation 4, which is a little bit of a disappointment. I hope they come around to making, like, a Gundam Versus Plus on Vita at some point, but, oh well, we'll see eventually. Darkest Dungeon was also a bit of a surprise. It's so dark and depressing, and the strategy gameplay is really hard and very grindy, but I will admit that I absolutely love it. God only knows if I'll ever be able to finish it. Apparently they're adding a new mode which will make the game like half the length, which will be an interesting concept, but, well, we'll just wait and see. And there's also the DLC coming out next year, so yeah, that'll be fun. Dragon Quest Builders. Yeah, I do enjoy me some Dragon Quest Builders. Just, you know, building up your village, building up your own supplies, and going out and exploring the world. And of course, there's all the side quests to do, and there's a free build mode, and it's a really well done just spin-off of a game, and it's bloody tiny, so it fits on any memory card that you've got handy. So that's really quite nice, actually. I really do like Dragon Quest Builders, just as a little side thing. I really do need to get around to getting past Chapter 2, but yes, I really do like it as a side thing. Now to get on to games I wouldn't put on my top 10, but I did enjoy at some point this year, and I would recommend that all of these are worth picking up at some point, maybe when they go on sale or something like that. And the first one is, of course, Trails of Cold Steel 2. Now, Trails of Cold Steel 2 is actually kind of annoying because the bloody idiots apparently don't know how to finish a trilogy on a PlayStation platform, because on Vita and PS3, they did Trails 1 and Trails 2, but Trails 3 is going to be Trails of Cold Steel 1 and 2, but Trails of Cold Steel 3 is going to be PS4 exclusive. On PSP, they did Trails in the Sky 1 and 2, but Trails in the Sky 3, they're not going to bother bringing over the PSP version, because god damn it. I don't even know why I bother starting to play these trilogies, because the platform I decide to play them on won't have the bloody trilogy on it at the end. Yeah, that's kind of annoying to me, honestly. I can't imagine sitting down in front of my PC and playing these games for bloody ages. So, and, you know, PS4 has the same problem. So, that's kind of unfortunate. There's Shantae, which is just a little bit too easy for me to put in my top 10, but I really did enjoy what I managed to play of it, and I hope I do get to play the rest of it at some point. Same thing with Unepic. Did enjoy what I played of it. It's not too easy, but It's just a little bit... It doesn't have the finesse a game like, say, Odin Sphere does, but it has a neat little parody over... what's the word I'm looking for? Just this parody blanket over the top of it that works pretty damn well, and it's a neat idea for, like, a combat system and all that, but it feels very niche, even by itself, so I don't have a problem with saying it's a bit niche and not everyone should buy it, but it is still worth a look. A Boy and His Blob does pretty much what Shantae does. Neat puzzle platforming, really nice looking, is just not that particularly difficult, or it doesn't do anything particularly well to warrant a spot on my top 10, but that did come out very early in the year, so it does count for this list. So there you go. Good times, well worth picking up, especially if you can get it on sale. Axiom Verge is about the same. It's a Metroidvania platformer based around just getting that sort of like 16-bit feel back into the sort of genre, and it really does work. He's done a really good job with it. It feels very polished and very well done, and I do quite like the sort of like glitchy sort of thing it's got going for it. So yeah, I do quite like Axiom Verge, and it is well worth your time. I don't know what it was about God Eater 2 that I liked so much in comparison to Resurrection, which made me just despise how grindy it was, but yeah, that game's a thing, and I do quite enjoy playing it, even if it's just like a sort of brainless button mash, more or less, with a little bit extra on top of the equipment and stuff. And it's got a neat setting, lots of different kinds of creatures and lots of different kinds of weapons and stuff like that to do. So I don't mind it as much. I still think Soul Sacrifice Delta is the best hunting game on Vita, and chances are Soul Sacrifice 2 is never going to happen at this point, which is really unfortunate. I really do hope they get around to making that series again, although knowing our luck, it'll probably be on the PS4, so that's an unfortunate thing going on there. Well, the Final Fantasy is just a parody of everything Final Fantasy, just works pretty damn well in my mind, and it's got this whole neat stacking system going on for it, for its combat, and it's not too hard as to send away, you know, people who like RPGs casually but don't like digging into one as a, just, you know, a more timed thing. So, and timed as in like a more dedicated thing, so yeah, it's kind of nice for that. It's just, the Vita version isn't particularly great, and the humor might be a bit off-putting to some people, so, you know, it's not in my top 10, but it's still worth a look. Attack on Titan, I really did like the sort of, twinge on the, Dynasty Warriors style formula. It's just that, you know, it's Attack on Titan, so it does get repetitive eventually taking down the Titans. And it's got some performance problems, some pretty big ones actually, but I'm not too offended by them, but again, it's still not on my top 10. If I had the room on my memory card, I would have kept this game around just for 5 minutes at a time, just picking up and smashing through things, but there you go. Grand Kingdom was actually pretty good. I do like the whole online war thing, but the problem is the single player content, once the online servers have gone down, is basically going to be nothing but shit, so it's kind of unfortunate, really. I do like the idea of the online stuff. I really wish they'd emulated that so that it would work, like, offline with, like, random players and stuff like that, but I guess that just won't work. Really unfortunate, but there you go. So, it's worth picking up when it goes on sale, but then again, if you don't want to put the time into it before the servers decide to eventually go down, it probably won't be worth anything to you, and that's quite unfortunate. I hope they do patch that game before they decide to take it offline for good. 2 fighting games on this list here, Garou, Mark of the Wolves, and Skullgirls. They both do relatively the same thing, which is they look really nice, have a good set of diverse characters, and they play really damn well. So, you know, if you're looking for a good fighting game, one of those two will do your trick. There you go. Not really much else to say about them. They've both got online play, thank God, so, you know, I wish I could play online play with these games, but again, I'm playing the American versions, and I'm in Australia, so they'll lock me to American people. And if I get locked to American people, 200-something ping, it will not be pleasant for anyone who knows what fighting games are like. Then, of course, there's Severed. Can't bring up this sort of list without mentioning Severed. Severed is a neat idea. It's a sort of dungeon crawler combined with sort of like touchscreen-based combat. And it's neat, and it's a fun game for what it is. It only goes for a few hours, though, and it doesn't really do anything particularly grand, but it does do what it does very well. So, you know, it is worth picking up, and especially if you can get it for like $10 or less. Was it $10 or less? I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, it's still worth picking up for that at the very least. And finally, anything by 10 Tons. 10 Tons have had a pretty good year. They've done another Sparkle game, I think. They've done Neon Chrome, which turned out pretty well despite its performance problems. And, I mean, this just applies to anything 10 tons in general. They make some really well done, nice things that don't really step outside of the box, but at the same time, they are particularly fun to play. So, I'm not going to argue too heavily against it being on this list pretty much every year. That depends as long as, you know, they don't go downhill or anything like that. So, there you go. So, there's a bunch of other games I want to talk about as well, mainly because I wouldn't have gotten this opportunity otherwise if PlayAsia wasn't a thing. Because, in case you don't know, PlayAsia basically sponsored me this year. So, they send me pretty much every Vita import game that I could ask for. So, I'm going to take the opportunity to talk about the imports that I like this year, including the 10th game from my top 10 games this year, that which smart people would have noticed that I left out by accident. I didn't mean to say we'll cover the other game later, but there you go. So we'll go have a look at some of the imports I did this year, because why the hell not? And Uppers was one of the first. It was actually the first game I got on the sponsorship, so that's actually kind of great, because it turned out really well. Most of the games I actually got this year turned out really well, because the thing with that is I ended up picking games that appealed to me personally, and considering that I actually apparently have a really good eye for what I like, that kind of turned out well for me. But anyway, Uppers, it's the Kenshiro Takai beat 'em up that wasn't freaking Valkyrie Drive this year, and it actually did a fair few things different from Valkyrie Drive. It changed the characters, changed the setting, changed the way the beat 'em up stuff works. And it has a really neat just overall thing going for it, and I really do like it. I hope we do get it in English in 2017. Also, before you ask why Ys 8 isn't on this list, because they recently just confirmed it for an English release in 2017, and I'm hoping to fuck that it's the Vita version as well. I mean, I don't mind if the PS4 version comes over, as long as the Vita version comes over too, because I really did enjoy the Vita version of Ys 8, of what I played of it, and I'm really looking forward to giving it another shot. But anyway, SD Gundam G Generation Genesis. Thank God this got an English release, because it would have been a nightmare to play in Japanese. But yeah, it's really neat, just a sort of strategy game where you go through all the Universal Century scenarios with a secondary army that you build up yourself in the process of going through the individual stories, and bringing along, like, your own Gundams with it. So bringing along a bunch of RX-78s piloted by Char Aznavour and a bunch of random characters is kind of great. And I'm really looking forward to giving it another shot, but the battles take a bloody hour to get through each. So, yeah, I'm going to be waiting a while until I really have the time to really dig my teeth into that one. There is Kamen Rider, of course, Batride War Genesis, which is a basic, just another sort of beat-em-up in the style of Dynasty Warriors, but it's got its own unique theme going about it. All the different characters from all the different Kamen Rider series are all completely different, and it's just a great time. It's all ridiculous and silly, and I can't help but enjoy it for what it is. And, of course, if you get it, please, for the love of God, get the Day 1 patch. I mean, seriously, the Day 1 patch makes a ridiculous difference, so I really do hope that they find a way to back up the patches before the patch servers go down. Daisen Ryaku. I did get into this series this year, and a lot of people didn't like it, apparently, because a few people were on my channel being like, please don't do any more Daisen Ryaku videos, like in the survey and stuff, and I'm like, but I really like Daisen Ryaku, and I really hope that I find another good Daisen Ryaku game, because I played all 4 of them this year. The obvious one that I liked the most was XC2, which is the one I'm probably displaying on the screen right now if I could be bothered to edit this one together. But yes, I really did like the Daisen Ryaku series, or at least the games that I played from it, and I really do hope they get around to making another Daisen Ryaku game that's a bit more user-friendly, so I can, you know, give it another shot, but there you go. Kantai Collection Kai, I did enjoy this for what it was, because it's one of those sort of mobile style games, but since they've made it into a full game, they can't actually, like, shake you down for more money anymore, so they let you just, get resources and use that to buy the sort of stuff you'd usually get via the microtransactions, and that's great, because I really do like those sorts of games where you build up your resources, use it to manage your team, and then take it on, like, little maps like they do on Kankol. And that's actually a really neat idea, and I really do like it, which is unfortunate because it's going to be taken off sale in next year. So if you don't get it within January, you're not going to get it at all, which is kind of sucks, actually. There's Macross Delta Scramble, which is kind of disappointment, really, because I was hoping for another Gundam game, because this is from the people who make the Gundam Battle series, and Gundam Battle is actually a different series entirely from Gundam Extreme Versus, and I really do like it. I've played a few of the games on it. I've played Battle Universe, I've played Gundam the 3D Battle, and I've played Gundam, what was the name of the one that was on Vita? Battle Destiny, Seed Battle Destiny. And it was, yeah, these games are actually really good, and Macross Delta is like the spiritual successor, because it's basically the same gameplay, just with being able to turn to a plane and do things like anti-missile defense, where you just launch out millions of mini-missiles, and it's great, because it's a neat, just like little, you pick it up and you feel like a badass for a few minutes, and then you put it down and move on to something else, and I really do like those sorts of games, and it did a really good job in being that. The unfortunate thing being that Macross Delta has an absolute ton of DLC now. There's like, there's a free DLC one which will end off the main story of Macross Delta, which is the anime it was adapted from, and then they added a bunch of paid missions that are from other Macross series, and it's like, god damn it, I really wanted to get that DLC, but I can't do it without having a Japanese Vita. Ow, I just banged my hand on my keyboard. Yeah, that's kind of unfortunate. You won't have seen this video yet, but it'll be going up a few days after this, and it's The Princess is Money Hungry, and it is a neat little concept. You are literally a princess who does not give a shit about anything, buying off monsters and traps and using them to fight against other monsters and building up your own castle in the time frame. And that's kind of great. Like, it's such a neat idea, especially when you can decide what parts of the enemy force you want to take out first, but at the same time you do want to hang on to some money so you can afford to buy upgrades and stuff like that. It's a bit grindy and a bit repetitive because you need to go back and offset the difficulty spikes and stuff like that, but it's a really neat idea, and I do hope they get around to localizing it, because I'd like to know what the hell's going on in the story, if it's a bit satirical or anything like that. But yeah, NIS America has a lot to localize. They still haven't done fucking Hero Must Die. That game looked really interesting. And they haven't done Covenant Labyrinth of Refrain, which is the dungeon crawler made by the Disgaea people. I'll see if I can get that sometime next year as an import. No promises, but it's on the list. And finally, the game that I played the most this year, and I know this sounds weird because I'm not usually a sports game first person or anything like that, but this game has been in my Vita pretty much constantly, and I've been playing it pretty much all the time. And that's GQ Powerful Pro Yakyu 2016. I've been playing an absolute ton of this. The sort of arcade gameplay combined with the really in-depth character stats and all the just sort of different modes that you've got, like raising your own guy, doing like a sort of story mode in the success mode, to training a baseball team, to being a pennant manager, to literally just spending 20 minutes just going through and having a few matches in a row, a lot like an arcade mode in the Power Festival mode, is great. Like, I legitimately don't know what I like so much about it, but it's such a feature-complete package, it's really well done, and the gameplay is really fun. And I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on the realistic version, which is Pro Yakyu Spirits, but I can't because it's not being sold anywhere. So again, as I said in the survey video, if you have either the Madoka Magica game, which I do want to get my hands on, or the Pro Yakyu Spirits 2015 game, you're willing to send it to me for less than 120 bucks Australian, please get in contact with me via either Twitter or the email address that I've got listed in my About tab. And you can, well, we can work something out. I'm probably not going to be able to give you something in return outside of maybe like a couple of video links early, but I mean, if you're willing to do me a solid, well, there are your contact details. I'm going to take a quick break to catch my breath and just stretch a little bit, so I'll be back with the rest of this video shortly. Alright, I'm back. The worst thing about this room is that it's currently the middle of summer, and I have to keep the entire room sealed up in order to successfully record without outside noises getting in, which is kind of annoying because, yeah, my room just slowly heats up as I'm doing recordings, and it's only going to get worse. So, let's get back into the swing of things and talk about games that I was disappointed in this year. And unfortunately, the absolute majority of these games are basically anime games, because the anime games don't seem to want to do anything in terms of improving, but who knows, we'll get to them as I talk to them. So, talk to them. Yes, I'm going to talk to them. Hello, Game Case for Sword Art Online Hollow Realization. How do you feel about me not liking you? Dead silence. But anyway, as you might have guessed, first game was the new Sword Art Online game, just because the performance on it was bloody terrible and it didn't really seem to improve much on Hollow Fragment. So that's actually alright though, because they are actually doing patches for it, which might actually improve something. There was a massive patch that just came out, and there's another massive patch which is going to add a bunch of content. So, you know, that's kind of nice. I'll have to check it out again at some point, but who knows? Hopefully they'll just add a few more tweaks into the later patches and really just, like, step it up a bit, but there you go. So, Senran Kagura and Valkyrie Drive are in the same spot because they're basically the same thing. They're basically just, they're just hack and slashes. They haven't really improved that much on the Senran Kagura that came out a couple of years ago. And also, unfortunately, they both don't run that well. So, you know, my hack and slashes usually require being running really well in order for me to really enjoy them. And I didn't really enjoy these two, so that's kind of a disappointment for me, I guess. You know, that's just the way things are. Ray Gigant was a bit of a disappointment for me. I'm not going to say Stranger of Sword City. Well, actually, I could say Stranger of Sword City, because Stranger of Sword City, it had got an enhanced version in Japan that's not coming out over here. Which is shit. It really is, but there you go. But yeah, back to Ray Gigant. Ray Gigant, right? Ray Gigant, however you pronounce it. It's shit. I mean, it really is. Just because it... As someone who really liked Demon Gaze and Dungeon Travelers 2, I was hoping for something a little bit more, just, you know, not beginner level trash, and Ray Gigant was beginner level trash. That's basically all it was. So, there you go. It looks great, but does nothing else of note. So, yeah, big disappointment for me there. Sega Hard Girls and, well, Super Dimension Neptune versus Sega Hard Girls and Criminal Girls 2 Party Favors are basically exactly the same as their previous installments. So, again, I'm not really a great big fan of those. That's basically the only reason why I don't like most of these games are. They're either too similar to their previous iterations or they run like crap. And these two are too similar to their previous iterations. I was hoping for better from both of them, especially since Super Dimension Neptune vs. Sega Hard Girls was meant to be a spin-off, but no, it's literally just another freaking Hyper Dimension Neptune mainline game, but they've just gone and added a little bit extra time travel and some girls based off Sega consoles to the plot. So there you go. The Asterisk War Phoenix Festa, or AW Phoenix Festa. It's crap, but it's crap in a really specific way that it came out 2 weeks after Mobile Suit Gundam Extreme Versus Force and did exactly the same thing as Mobile Suit Gundam Extreme Versus Force. So it's terrible. It really is. It also doesn't do the 2 versus 2 combat anywhere near as well as Mobile Suit Gundam Extreme Versus Force. So it basically just exists to be a dent in the side of Mobile Suit Gundam Extreme Versus Force, a game that's already dented by not being the best Extreme Versus game of the series, and it's on Vita. So, you know, it needs to make as many sales as possible, but they went and released a very similar game 2 weeks after this shit. God damn it, Bandai Namco. My final disappointment was, of course, Samurai Warriors 4 Empires, which is, yeah, I mean, it's not really that much of a disappointment because of Samurai Warriors 4, but again, this is like the 4th or 5th spin-off in this series that I've played this year, so, you know, it is thankfully one of the final spin-offs that we're going to have, because after Musu Stars next year, it's going to be Dynasty Warriors 9. I'm hoping Dynasty Warriors 9 comes out on Vita in some way, shape, or form, but it probably won't. I'm not going to hold my breath, but that's a thing. Yeah, I'll leave that and just hope that it actually does come out next year. Oh boy. But yeah, there you go. Those are all my disappointments this year, pretty much. Note that this part of the list usually doesn't include games that I think they're absolute tosh. They're games that I was just looking forward to, but unfortunately didn't really get what I wanted out of them. So there you go. So let's move on to the games I'm looking forward to next year. I'll have trailers and stuff where I can afford to put them. I'm gonna have a nightmare editing this video, I tell ya, just because it's a massively long video and I need to go get like 100-something trailers, and it's just, someone save me from this nightmare, but there you go. We'll start off with, not a particularly assuming one, which is Siralim 2. Now, I did like Siralim, but it wasn't enough to get into my top games just because there was a couple of things that were wrong with it, a couple of things that were just a bit off base, and it's like, if this concept existed with a bit more effort put in, well, not so much effort, but a bit more thought put into it, a little bit more balancing and tweaking, it could turn out to be really great. Siralim 2 is basically Siralim 1, but a bunch of tweaking and balancing done to try and make it look even better than it was before. Great. I'll give it a shot. It's out next month. Absolutely. Yeah, sure. I'll give it another go, and hopefully it'll be fucking tiny like the last one was, so it'll fit on pretty much anyone's memory card. Shakedown Hawaii. It's basically the same concept as Retro City Rampage, from the same developer as Retro City Rampage, but he's moved it up to the 16-bit generation. Great. Like, don't let me stop you, please. I'll absolutely have a look as soon as it comes out. So yeah, I better get onto that guy and ask him for a review code at some point. But yeah, note to self, do that. The Zero Escape, first game Zero Escape, is getting remastered as part of the Nonary Games double pack, and I'm not entirely sure why they're not releasing Zero Escape 999 by itself instead of releasing it in this double pack, but, you know, I mean, you know, whatever they want to do. And I'll happily pick this one up and have a look at it again. I really did like the first game. The first game kept me up all fucking night playing it, so, I mean, it's obviously not going to do the same thing again, because I obviously know what's going to happen in it, but I am definitely going to check out the Nonary Games, and I am going to give you my opinion on the remaster as someone who has played through the original twice, so there you go. Who would have thought fucking Windjammers would come out on Vita with, like, online multiplayer and different training modes and stuff? Like, seriously, who would have thought that .emu would have done that? That's actually kind of great, because Windjammers is really bloody cool, and having an official release on the Vita that has online multiplayer will be even better, because I would love to get online and play with some people sometime. Again, like I said in the fighting games bit just a few minutes ago, it's going to be a bloody nightmare to do, but I'm going to try it anyway, because goddamn if I don't want a bloody Windjammers game to play on a game console that actually works really well with it, i.e. the Vita's D-pad. There's a dog that won't stop goddamn barking. That's kind of annoying. I'm hoping that you can't hear it in the microphone, but you probably can. I'll have to turn up the background music a bit so that it'll drown it out just a little bit, but there's not that much I can do about it. I'm sorry about that. Soul Sanctuary's coming out next year. Apparently it's coming along really well, and it's basically a two-dimensional Dark Souls. I'm absolutely, like, don't get me wrong. I mean, I am a fan of Dark Souls, and I do wish that a 3D Dark Souls would have come out on the Vita at some point, even if it was just a low-poly port of the first one. But, you know, having a 2D one that does things somewhat differently means that at least it feels... it feels a little bit different than playing the originals, so there you go. I really wish this dog would shut up. What is it so fucking upset about? Alright, I'll just leave that for now. So, Pox Nora is apparently going to be a free-to-play online trading card game, and I am looking forward to it coming out on Vita. I'm hoping there's significant single-player content and a way to earn the cards in single-player, just so you can download the client and be like, oh, I can just play this as a regular trading card game against the AI, but there's also PvP and stuff like that. There's like 30-something expansions behind it, so there's a lot of content. I am looking forward to giving this a shot. They did offer me the ability to check out the PC version with a bunch of cards and stuff already put in, so I actually didn't accept it, but I told them to keep me in mind just in case they remember around the time the Vita version comes out. So yeah, I will be checking that out one way or another. I don't usually check out free-to-play games because most of them are shit, but this one doesn't look shit at all. It's got some pretty good reviews on Steam and stuff like that, so I'll give it a look. I really wish this dog would fucking shut up. Alright, Rabi-Ribi. It's a Metroidvania combined with a bullet hell starring a bunch of bullet girls. No, that's a completely different game entirely. No, it stars a bunch of bunny girls. Bunny girls, bullet hell, it's very Japanese, but yeah, it's got a lot of good reviews, so yeah, I'll definitely check it out when it comes over to Vita. There's also apparently another game called Momodora, which might be getting a Vita port. Can't confirm if it is, but it might be getting a Vita port, and it's, I don't want to say basically the same thing, but it runs along the same lines. So yeah, I'm looking forward to both of them if they do eventually end up coming out on Vita, at least the second one anyway. Toukidan 2 is looking a little bit more likely for Vita and PS4. They did recently rate it on a German ratings board. I didn't mention it in the weekly update because, you know, I'd rather just wait until Tecmo Koei themselves decides to announce it. But, you know, it's Toukidan. I'll happily give it another shot, even though I didn't really like what I played of the Japanese version. Maybe I missed something, maybe I didn't, but, well, we can always wait and see, can't we? Tokyo Xanadu. It's a Falcom action RPG. Of course I'll be checking it out. I liked Ys and I liked Trails, so I'll definitely be checking this one out. And Axis are doing it as well, so it'll be neat to see how they handle things differently from good old Xseed. Also of note is that there's actually a PS4 version of Tokyo Xanadu coming out, but Axis, being the gods that they are, have decided to localize the Vita version. Because they're gods. Like, I really don't have anything else to say, really. It's kind of great that they've decided to do that. I hope they decide to do the same with Ys 8. Like, sure, let Xseed have the PS4 version, then Axis puts in the effort for the PS Vita version, and there you go. But who knows? Maybe it won't work out like that. Speaking of Ys, though, Ys Origin is coming over from bloody .enu. I'm not entirely sure what prompted them to do this, but Ys Origin is like the one game they didn't release on PSP or Vita at some point, so it'll be nice to give that one a shot, and it plays differently to the other Ys games. So yeah, again, it'll be nice to give it a shot, and I'll be happy to check it out. More Darius Burst DLC coming next year. I was a little bit disappointed with the cave pack, because it really did just feel like fire away and dodge everything, but hopefully the new pack of DLC will be somewhat different. I was a little bit more impressed with like the Taito and Sega packs, but we'll wait and see on that one. And of course, the Masters at Atlas, and I do count Atlas in this one. Let me try that again. Bringing over Valkyria Revolution and Caligula, both digital only, unfortunately, but it's probably Atlas that are doing it, because, you know, Atlas have got the better translation house. And they're bringing over both as Vita digital only titles, yes, and they're both really unique things. I know a lot of people are upset about Valkyria Revolution being not a Valkyria Chronicles game, but, you know, I haven't played the Valkyria Chronicles game, so I'm in the best place to be, like, you know, enjoy it as an actual spin-off and not as a thing that is connected to Valkyria Chronicles in some way. And of course, Caligula, which looks like a pretty neat RPG in and of itself, so, you know, I'll definitely be checking both out next year. Ys 8, as I said before, it is getting a Western release, and hopefully it is the Vita release, because if it isn't the Vita release, I will be very upset, because I really did enjoy what I played at the Vita release. So, there you go. I'm really looking forward to that. Musou Stars is coming out next year, and it's going to be the final spin-off before Dynasty Warriors 9, so I'm hoping that some of the improvements they've made for Dynasty Warriors 9 are being pack-ported into Musou Stars, and they've also included a lot of new characters. Like, they've included a bunch of different characters from all over the place, like Italia, a bunch of their advertising campaigns, and of course a bunch of Dead or Alive characters. Marie Rose, flat is justice. So there you go. Super Robot Wars V, or Victory, or something, whatever the bloody hell they're calling it, that's coming out next year, and after playing SD Gundam G Generation Genesis, I am really looking forward to checking out a massive crossover game with Gundam in it, along with a bunch of things like Evangelion, which is kind of neat. And considering that it's going to be the first one in the series out in English, woohoo, I'll actually be able to understand what the hell is going on. That, and I've actually got a Super Robot Wars game on the shelf, just waiting to get done for a video and stuff like that. So, yeah, that'll be a nice thing to go through, even though I won't be able to understand it. God damn it. 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim, obviously, I'll be importing that as soon as they announce a date for it. Absolutely, that will be the first thing on my goddamn list. And I will be enjoying the shit out of it, because it's a freaking Vanillaware game. So, I mean, there's not a Vanillaware game in existence that I haven't liked. I even liked the original, what was it? Odin Sphere back on the PS2. Like, I actually tried it out before Odin Sphere Legacy came out, and it was a damn good game. So there you go. And there's a couple of other things that are coming out too, like this City Shrouded in Shadow, which is basically, you know, Godzilla and Ultraman fighting, but the thing is, you are just a regular guy running around in the street. There's the Fortune Street game that's coming out. I am looking forward to playing that, but unfortunately, it's probably not going to come over in English, because fucking Square Enix can't make up their mind whether or not to localize stuff for Vita or not these days. And there's a bunch of System Soft Alpha games that are coming out next year, and, well, one that came out this year that I'll be checking out next year, which is Taiheiyu no Arashi, which is another World War II strategy game, Moe Moe Daitu G3, which is basically just, you know, anthropomorphized freaking fighter jets fighting it out in World War II, which is even weirder, but whatever. And just this week, they announced that they're doing a Sengoku Hime 7, which is exclusive to Vita for some reason. I'm not entirely sure what that's about, but they're doing it for Vita, and I was debating which one of these games I was going to check out, but oh well, I might as well check out Sengoku Hime 7 since it's coming out next year at the end of March. So there you go. And of course, There is one more game that might be coming out next year, but it's probably not, which is Bloodstained, which would be kind of neat if it came out next year, but I think they pushed that back to 2018. So yeah, that's kind of unfortunate, but I'll be checking that game out anyway, so there you go. So yeah, that was just a quick look at what I'm looking forward to next year, what I liked this year, what I was disappointed in this year. So hopefully you found something that's at least worth your time to look at here. So there you go. A lot happier with this take than I was with the previous one. It's actually shorter too, so I won't have to do as much editing. Yay! Alright, so I'm just going to end this video off before I go completely bloody insane. So this has been Blue Maxima, and I'll see you all next time. Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima again. It's a couple of days after the past recording, and yeah, that's a thing. So I put up a poll on Twitter asking, hey, would you like me to put my 10 least favorite games as a little bit of an addendum to the 2016 recap video? And of course the answer was yes. I should always assume, do you want me to do X content, will always come up with yes. I really need to do that. So just real quick, we're going to go through the 10 games I thought were the worst games this year. Not because they were all utter shite. There were some that were okay, but I mean, I had to find 10, but some of them weren't particularly great anyway, so we're just going to go through them, and we're going to start with a double one, because it's 2 games from the same series, which is Red Game Without a Great Name and Green Game Time Swapper. They're just boring, like, scrolling positioning puzzles that are just a bit of a pain to do and aren't really all that fun to begin with, so yeah, I'm totally not a fan of those. I've only got footage of Red Game here, but Green Game is the same thing. They've just changed the color and they've added some time swapping mechanics, which is, yeah, I mean, there's a reason why I didn't do a video on that, because it was basically going to be exactly the same thing. Then there's My Name is Mayo, which is literally you just tapping on a mayo jar for a few minutes to get a platinum. I'm not even kidding. The only reason you buy that game is because it's a platinum for $2 and an hour's worth of effort. Absolutely not worth your time in any other sense of the word. Knob Switch. It's literally telling the difference between 2 sounds, except telling the difference is really hard if you're not musically trained. I'm legitimately not sure why they thought this was a good idea. Like, I don't even know why you have to pay a few bucks for it. But there you go, you have to do it anyway. Castle Invasion. It's perfectly reasonable as a game. It's just a bit dull. You just move up and down and fire the right weapon in the right direction to try and keep a constantly moving wave of enemies off your ass, but it's just nowhere near as engaging as I make it sound. It just bores after a few minutes, so there's really no point in keeping it around. Then there's Wanderyar, which is a sort of, it's supposed to be a sort of strategy style game, but the only strategy involved is swapping out the 4 people who are standing in the 4 corners of the map. If you could move your characters around, it'd be a lot better. If you could order them to do specific attacks, it would be a lot better. Instead, you just have to plop them down and wait for them to do what you want them to do, and fuck with the goddamn really annoying level design, and it's basically just that. And that's actually kind of disappointing, because it was actually a really neat concept that just kind of got screwed. Then there's Mop, and Mop is just horrible, because they fucked up the Vita port so bad, they delisted it after a couple of days, and as of this writing, they still haven't put it back up. Yeah, as you can see, the Vita version was just broken beyond all belief, so that's a thing. There's Zombies The Last Survivor, which was so horrible just as a general game that I ended up getting a Vita developer license, because I thought to myself, I could do better than this. I could honestly make a better pitch to these people. And as it turns out, I could make a better pitch to these people, because they actually let me download all the SDKs and stuff like that. But as it turns out, you need to pay a fair bit of money to get the development kits, which I do not have. And if you don't have the development kits, you can't develop games. So that's a little bit unfortunate. There's Blast and Bunnies, which is literally just sit in one spot and shoot in every direction, and the game is just massively DLC driven, and it's kind of disgusting, like horrendously disgusting, where they make you pay $2 or $3 for individual levels, and it's just dumb, really dumb. It's not worth your time in the slightest. None of the guns feel any good. It's just bad. And finally, there's We Are Doomed, which, considering this game came out after Geometry Wars 3, the fact that you can see everything about it in about an hour is actually kind of unacceptable, especially considering you can get Geometry Wars 3 for around the same price these days. So yeah, that was the worst 10 games I've done this week. This is going to be a nightmare of a video to edit, and I hope you all enjoyed it, because if you didn't, that means all this work was for nothing. So this has been Blue Maxima, and I'll see you all next time.